What's happening, YouTube? This is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the new products that Tekton just released. Also some new products that's going to be released in January and February of next year. And we're going to also take a look at the new feature that they put on their website, which is basically a wish list. So we're also going to discuss Harbor Freight a little bit in this video, and I'm going to show you a real life example of why going to Harbor Freight to save money may not actually save you money, and you might end up spending more money. So just like everything else, you kind of have to know what you can buy and what you can buy, and Harbor Freight is no exception. So you could actually lose money thinking that you're saving money. So I'm going to give you a real life example of that and show you what the better option would have been. And also I'm gonna put together a real life wish list on Tekton of some products that I need to either improve, replace, or upgrade. So before we jump on their website and I show you some of the new stuff, take a journey into my garage. Let me show you guys how I lost money buying a Harbor Freight product, and also a toolbox that desperately needs to be replaced, and that's going to go on my Tekton wish list. So I've been using this setup right here for my 1/2-inch impact sockets for quite a while. I did have to add on a few sockets, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But you can see my shallow set is made by Craftsman, and these have been really good. I bought these way before Stanley Black & Decker ruined Craftsman. So this was a really good Craftsman set, and the deep sockets in the back are Pittsburgh. And so I want to discuss a little bit about how I actually lost money by buying this Pittsburgh set, and really the Craftsman set for that matter too. Both of these socket sets were inexpensive. The Craftsman set I really liked, and I purchased it. But the Pittsburgh, I actually bought that in a jam. I think I bought these back in like maybe 2012 or 2013 on those Pittsburghs. And they have worked for me. They've been a really nice set, but there's quite a few skips in this set. So as an auto technician, you really don't know what fasteners you're going to run across as a vehicle comes in. You know, you have the typical stuff with Honda and Toyota. With Honda, you're going to run into a lot of 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, 19. Same thing with Toyota, but Toyota has some bigger fasteners in there. You may have some 22 millimeter, some 24, with Toyota, and probably a little bit more 17 millimeter. But in American vehicles, you're probably going to have a lot of 13, 15. Probably some 19 millimeter there too. So you kind of know what you're going to use, but really you never know what socket you're going to need. You never know if the owner of the vehicle replaced a bolt on a vehicle and it's a different size. You never know if manufacturers start using different sizes in a newer vehicle. They start using different size fasteners in a later model, so you never really know. So it's just good to have complete socket sets, and this is where you get into trouble and you end up not having the size that you need, and then you thought you saved some money on a cheap inexpensive set like the ones you see in front of you, but really in the long run you actually lose money because you end up with a lot of skips, and it takes time out of your schedule to have to go and fill in those missing sizes. So let's see how much money I actually lost by buying this $27 Harbor Freight socket set. So notice on this Pittsburgh socket set, it goes up to 32 millimeter. Notice that it skipped down to 30 as I put each socket in. 27. Notice all the skips as each socket goes into the socket tray. And this is the point that I'm trying to make here, is that you'll actually end up losing money by trying to save money from all the skip sizes, you're going to eventually have to fill this socket set in. Like the point I made earlier, you never really know what socket you're going to end up needing when you work on vehicles. And so I ended up using chrome sockets or borrowing sockets from Des Autotech, or I just flat out had to buy a socket that I didn't have, like you see here. In between 22 and 24, you can see that I really needed a 23 millimeter, so I went ahead and bought that 23. And then I also needed a 24 millimeter for an axle nut, which is pretty common, which I had to buy. So is this set cheap, or am I actually losing money in the long run? Okay, so this is the Harbor Freight set that I just showed you. If you went onto their website right now, you will see that this set from 10 to 32 millimeter is 25 bucks. That's the same set I showed you that I've had for quite a while. I believe I bought that set back in like 2012, so it has held up. So my complaint is that not necessarily the material, or whether or not the socket will hold up, but this is more about whether or not you're actually saving money buying cheap tools from Harbor Freight. Now, there are things from Harbor Freight that are exceptional values. You can't argue with the toolboxes and the tool carts and the jack stands, and the shop cranes. You know, I give them that. That's probably one of the best buys in that store. But when it comes to hand tools, you won't always save money going the Harbor Freight route. For example, in this particular set, look at all the skip sizes. I put together a list showing all the skips and how much money each skip would cost me to fill in this set. So let's take a quick look at all the skip sizes and exactly how much it would cost to fill this set in. So we got basically 11 skip sizes here: 31, 29, 28, 26, 25, 23, 21, 20, 16, 12, and 11. These are all sizes that were not in this set from 10 to 31. Where I got the prices, I basically went on Amazon to Tekton store, and you can see here it's about 12 bucks. And actually some of the other sockets are more expensive. Sonex wants about 18 bucks, I believe, for theirs. So to be fair to this, I went with Tekton's price and not with Sonex price, which is 12 bucks. So you're definitely not going to save money going this route, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to need a 21 millimeter. So you're going to have to buy one. You're going to need a 20 millimeter. You're going to need a 12 millimeter. It may not all happen at once, but slowly over time, you're going to need that 16. You're going to need that 11. And so you're going to end up putting this set together over time. And you can see up there where I put the total, it takes about $112 to fill this set in. And I haven't even factored in tax, or maybe a different brand. You might buy a different brand. It could be more expensive. I haven't factored in the tax on the initial Pittsburgh socket set. So you can see how you end up losing money over time. And it's really not worth it to buy these cheaper sets that skip a lot of sockets. Now, I think the Tekton sets that's complete, you can't really argue with that. At this point in time, I think Tekton has the best price to performance ratio. I haven't seen another tool company that'll give you quite the same value that you get from Tekton. So let's switch gears for a minute here and talk about this toolbox. we're going to get back to the impact sockets and what would have been the better option in a minute. But if you notice, this toolbox, it's starting to lean. I don't know if you can tell on the screen, but it's leaning towards, it would be the right of your screen and the left of the toolbox itself. It's starting to lean. I've had way too much weight in this toolbox for a really long time. I've completely overweight this thing down. And the toolbox has been through several moves from the moves that I've done this year, and it just took a beating. So I'm gonna put one of those new Tekton toolboxes on my wish list, and I'd like to replace this toolbox right here with one of those new Tekton toolboxes. So I'm gonna save up a little bit so that I can get one of the largest size that they have, because I got quite a bit of stuff in here. So that's going on my wish list. Let me show you a close-up on this bottom drawer and how it barely opens and it's all banged around. Well, it's safe to say I need a new toolbox. I've had this toolbox for a really long time, and it's gotten raggedy over the years from me completely overweighting this thing down and moving from a different place to place. And really, these Husky toolboxes aren't really rated for like heavy duty, like some of the tool truck brand toolboxes. And I know that the Tekton toolbox is more of a tool truck quality as far as the weight and capacity. So that's definitely going on my wish list. So I'm going to save up and get me one of those Tekton toolboxes as soon as I'm able. Okay, guys, so because I'm uploading videos again, I reached out to Tekton to see what was new since I've been down for a while. And this is the email that I got here. And you guys probably already know about this stuff here. I was really sick around this time period, so I kind of missed this stuff. So I've been checking out a lot of these new tools that came out, like the crow's foot, and with the little racket comes on, really nice. And they have the hats. So they got more gear you can buy. So the 3-in-1 stubby screwdriver came out in September. So you guys probably know about this, the high torque chrome blade screwdriver. Those are the with the black handle on them, usually have that black oxide finish on it. So I assume they now have chrome blades on them, which is nice. Got a master mechanic set that just came out last month. Let's see, so some new dead blow hammers. I don't know when these will drop, but it's supposed to be this month, so check those out. So also some 3/8 drive impact sockets. I happen to really like 3/8 drive impact sockets to throw on like a stubby impact or some type of 3/8 drive electric impact. Especially when you're doing a lot of engine teardowns and things like that. So 3/8 drive works better for engine teardown. Obviously 1/2 inch drive impacts is better for like suspension work and things like that. And so I really like using these because I do a lot of engine work. And then also the 1/2 inch drive crow's foot wrenches are coming out in February. So I know they have the 3/8 drive set out, which is really nice. I'm gonna put that in my wish list, which brings me down here. She also explained about some of the new programs or new features that they have on a website, which is basically creating a wish list. And so she gave me a link to, an example of what you can do. So, for example, you can make Brian's Tekton tool list, or maybe a vehicle project that you're working on and tools you might need for that project. So that's something new on the website. Let's jump over to the website because you guys seen the way my Pittsburgh sockets are missing so many sockets that I need to upgrade and get some better sockets. I've been meaning to upgrade these for a really long time. You can see I had to replace, or not replace, excuse me, but actually purchase the correct size impact socket because I didn't have it in that Pittsburgh set. And honestly, that's not the way to go. I did buy that Pittsburgh set in a jam, and it has been nice, and that set has worked. I don't want to say anything bad about it as far as the quality goes, or as far as will you be able to actually get some work done. Yeah, it worked out great, but I did lose a lot of time purchasing that set. Okay, and I had to end up stopping what I was doing to go and buy two sockets that was not in that set. Okay, so if I fill in all the missing sizes in that set, then I really didn't save that much money buying a Pittsburgh set, because I had to turn right around and fill in all the missing sizes, and I could have just paid for a good set out the gate. So let's head over here to their website and put some things in that wish list. All right, guys. Well, welcome over to the Tekton website. I'm gonna head over to impact sockets, and I'm gonna jump down to a 1/2 inch drive because we still need to make our point as to who's gonna give you the better bang for your buck. So let's make that point. We need metric. We need deep. So let's go down here to our 1/2 inch drive. Now, if you take a look at this set, just like the Pittsburgh set, it maxes out at 32 and it starts at 10. But as you can see, this set is completely filled in, whereas if you recall, the Harbor Freight set had quite a few skips, and it's going to take about $112 to fill that set in. So if you fill it in, plus the initial cost of the Pittsburgh set, which was about $25, and I haven't even factored in tax, and I used Tekton as an example. Maybe you might buy a different brand socket to fill it in, so you could end up actually spending more than just buying a set like this for $125. Then you get everything, and it comes with a carrying case, and that Pittsburgh set does not. So you might be thinking, well, that's because that's the Pittsburgh set. You need to get the Icon set. Well, let's go over here and take a look at the Icon set. So this is $70 before tax. And if you look at this set, it's the same thing. We still got skip sizes up to 27. All right. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have to fill this in eventually. Eventually you're going to need a 24 millimeter. Eventually you're going to need a 1/2 inch impact socket that's not in this set. And you're going to end up replacing it with a different socket. And as far as I know, Icon doesn't make individual sockets. You could correct me if I'm wrong. So you may end up having a set with mismatched sockets because you need a 24. What are you going to do? You have to buy a 24, and there's no room to put it in this set or anything like that. So you may have some miscellaneous sockets down in a drawer that's not in a complete set, and you start having mismatched brands everywhere. So again, to me, the better deal is going to be Tekton. All right, so while we're here, let's go ahead and put this in my wish list. So let me go ahead and get myself logged in here. Okay, so let's create a new list. So I'm going to put Brian's Tekton tool. We'll put tools wish list. let's create and add item. Alright, so we got one item in there. Alright, so let's move on. I know they have some dead blow hammers coming out, and I have my dead blow hammer is not the greatest dead blow hammer. I did replace this busted one I'm gonna put up here on the screen with Husky, and that Husky is starting to get busted too. So, and these supposed to be really nice, like USA made dead blows. But anyway, there's also a new ratchet they're putting out. I'm gonna put that in my wish list because I don't have a ratchet like this. So if you take a look at this ratchet, we'll come down here to this little demonstration they put on as to what the use for this ratchet is. But I can already see that there's a lot of uses for a ratchet like this. So this is the new ratchet right here that folds and almost becomes like a palm ratchet. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna end up putting that in my wish list as well. So I'll add it to my list. And then I'm gonna head over to wrenches because I want some of those new crow's foot wrenches that they just came out with. I'm gonna go with the 8 to 24 millimeter, and I want it on a rack. So I'm gonna put this in a wish list. And then you guys seen how bad my toolbox is. So go ahead and go over to storage, look at tool cabinets, and you know, I really don't know how much I can get in one of these toolboxes, but it looks like you could get quite a bit in here. There's some pretty deep drawers in here, but I really do need to replace that. Husky is really, in my opinion, not really rated for like automotive. You can load those things up and it gets pretty heavy. So I may need something a little more sturdy. So I'm going to do some more research on this toolbox just to make sure I can get everything in there, because I really do want one of these toolboxes. So I'm definitely going to put it in my wish list and you know, save up a little bit of bread for it. All right, so that was my wish list and a few things that's coming out new. Hopefully this video, my point was well received, that you don't always save money by immediately going for the cheapest option out there. It may seem that you're spending more money because, well, $25 and $125 seems like a big difference. But in reality, if you do this for a living, or if you're even like an advanced DIYer and you're out there wrenching a lot, then you know it's only a matter of time before you don't have a size and there's nothing you can do but go and get a size. So it's better in the long run. Not only are you going to save time, but you're going to save money, and you can have complete sets without mismatched sockets everywhere, without having miscellaneous sockets everywhere. So one complete set, $125, all the way up to 32, no skips. Can't argue with that. So anyway, guys, this is Brian 916. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next one.